Go Gadget Podcast. This week on Cartoon Dumpster Dive, we cover the cartoon Inspector Gadget. Wowzers. Joel, fun fact about Inspector Gadget, he had approximately 14,000 gadgets at his disposal.
What? 14,000?
That's what the little dossier says.
Where did he keep them all?
In his body.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess depending on the size of the gadgets, but whatever. It's a cartoon.
It is a cartoon. Don't think about it too hard.
We'll give them 14,000.
It was a cartoon. It was made by the French, as we will discuss later. This show has a lot of firsts, actually.
It does.
What is your relationship with Inspector Gadget? How do you feel about Inspector Gadget?
Remember actually watching, like reruns of this cartoon, watch the live action movie? It was always that fun show.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it. I think every kid our age knew Inspector Gadget, but I mean, I don't know. I really didn't care about him too much. You?
I liked him. I liked Inspector Gadget a lot. I think it was one of the shows that I would actively watch.
Ooh.
There's some that's where they're on, but I knew when Inspector Gadget would come on.
Oh.
So I would be like, oh, Inspector Gadget.
You had remembered the time slot.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just thought it was neat. I've always been a big fan of robots. My favorite movie of all time is RoboCop. Yep. What is Inspector Gadget but the kid-friendly RoboCop? In the live-action movie, they basically make him RoboCop. This is the same, because we don't know how Inspector Gadget became Inspector Gadget in the show, but which we will, I promise, listeners who are Patreon subscribers, we will be doing a live-action landfill of Inspector Gadget. We're going to do both of them at the same time.
Yes.
But because we're already, as we know, this is a mega request from a Patreon subscriber. Mega. And he wanted us to do them all at once, which I really thought about it, and as I started doing research for Inspector Gadget, and then and Gadget Boy and Heather, I think was, and then there was a third one where it's Inspector Gadget and the Gadgetettes, and I'm like, this is getting a lot.
It's a lot.
So we're gonna split it up into 3 entries, and unless there's a fourth one that I just missed. But yeah, so we're going to split it all up. So you guys know what for a very rare time, you actually know what we're going to talk about next week and the week following. And you already know what you're listening to right now. But without further ado, Joel, let's listen to that theme song.
Let's hit it.
Definitely an 8.
Yes.
9. Actually, 9. 9 is how I'm going to rate it.
I was going to give it a 9. Look, any song that 20 years after I watched the cartoon, or maybe at this point,
You
like 20,
still remember?
I still hum it to this day. You're getting a 9 right off the bat.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, this definitely, it would be 30 years from when we saw it.
God.
Minimum.
So long
Because you were
ago.
born in 1990 and I was born in 89. This show came out in 1983. So it's already over 30 years old.
So, theme song, we got good old Shuki Levy
Okay.
to thank for that. That dude, I don't know. It's like every time I hear a theme song from the 80s or the early 90s, well, I'm like, this is kind of a banger. It seems like it's always
It's
him.
him. What else has he done?
Dude, what? He did like Power Rangers? Didn't he do the X-Men, like the 90s X-Men?
Yeah,
and
you're right. Yep.
Like he does good theme songs.
The man knows music.
He
Can't
do.
fault him for that.
He do.
So, Joel, how did Inspector Gadget get made? I do know, after doing a little bit of research about it and learning that it was French, it makes sense the way Inspector Gadget dresses. He looks
Yeah.
like Inspector Clouseau from Pink Panther.
Oh no. Don't say that, Andrew. So that
is that
that actually that led to them having to remove Inspector Gadget's mustache from him.
Oh, when I did my research, I thought they removed it because test audience said they made him look like a perv.
No, it was because MGM
Yeah.
came to them and was just like, that is too close to Inspector. However,
That looks too
Clouseau
close to
or-
our goofy French
how
inspector.
dare you?
Inspector Clouseau.
But anyways, Andrew, I'm so excited to talk about this. I feel like it's been way too long since we've talked about our good old boy, Andy Hayward.
This is his first one, though.
Dude, this is it.
This is what guy. I mean, talk about putting your best foot forward.
This is it. So in 1981, Andy Hayward has just left Hanna-Barbera. And why? Because the French company Deke Audiovisual has brought him on to oversee their entry into America. They are wanting to...
Is Hayward a French name?
What's that?
Is Hayward a French name?
No, so I actually saw in an interview that Andy was saying at the time, I think he was like living in like Thailand or Taiwan.
Red flag.
Because Hanna-Barbera had a animation company, like one of their setups in one of those countries for like cheap animation.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then he immediately moves from there to Paris to oversee Dick Audiovisual's breakout into America. And he is also a part of it going from Deke Audiovisual to Dick Entertainment.
Well, they call it Deke.
They do, but I call it Dick.
Yeah, I know what you call it, and everyone else for that
Good.
matter.
So Andy helps
Deke Entertainment.
Andy helps.
Would you like to see my entertaining Deke? Where you going, mademoiselle?
Baguette. That's about all.
Escargot.
Yeah. So they get this multimedia company set up, and Andy Haywood is basically tasked with the job of, we need to break into America. We need a hit. What you got for us? So he actually starts working with, I'm guessing since it's French, it's Jean Chaplin. Gene Chaplin. Okay?
Yeah.
But in Jean Chaplin. And Bruno Banshee.
Okay.
And they
Can you scream a lot?
so they start working on Inspector Gadget. Now, Andy Haywood has said that the inspiration for Inspector Gadget actually came when he was working on the show, Blue Falcon for Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, Dynamite.
Bingo. He said he always kind of loved the fact that, like, Dynamite was like the brains of it, but had all these like different gadgets.
Dynamite did everything.
Exactly. So
Blue Falcon, his job was to have thumbs.
So they basically, through Dynamite, Dog Wonder, Get Smart, and the $6 Million Man, these were all shows that they drew kind of inspiration from. They made Inspector Gadget.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
The design for Inspector Gadget, they said it took 350 sketches before they arrived at his final design.
Wow. I wonder if we can find the other, 349?
I would hope that you can.
Yeah, I would like to. Maybe there's one as him as a Boston beat cop.
I heard
Hey, go Gadget, crank, you know what I'm saying?
I watched an interview of Andy and Bruno talking about this, and they talked about how, like, one of the designs of Inspector Gadget, his arms or his hands were going to be sticking out his back, and his, like, coat open to reveal other appendages or something.
Huh. So they're kind of going with like a weird Doc Ock situation?
Or more like a flasher, maybe. I feel like they probably...
Oh, yeah, that sounds very French. Look at my baguette. It's not as big.
So if
but it is as upsetting.
Oh, if they were doing crazy designs like that, I would love to see some of the other ones. But after that many designs,
it does make you wonder about the design by committee process and how it's just like you look at Inspector Gadget and it looks super obvious that it's like, no, they definitely they got it on the first try, because that's clearly what you would have to be going for, right? And then you're like, nah, this is attempt 350.
No,
what?
You should really see attempt 258.
Oh,
that one was
let's
a doozy.
Just say we would have gotten canceled immediately in today's climate.
It's just like, I really want to see design 258 now. Come on.
It's just Inspector Gadget, but he's in blackface, and they're like, Terry,
what?
No.
Terry, how many times we got to tell you?
We can't do that anymore.
This ain't funny
isn't
no
Tex
more.
Avery.
This ain't funny no more. Quit it.
It ain't funny no more. You gotta stop. So we can't make jokes anymore? I like to think that was... I'm never going to do stand-up, but I always thought about having a bit where I do an impression of, like, you think he's a modern-day comedian, and he's like, oh, I guess we can't just joke about things anymore. I guess nothing's funny. We got a police comedy. And then when I get done with it, I was like, that's my impression of the first comedian who was told he couldn't do blackface anymore.
Just a whole bit. Just like
Just the whole bit, but then you're like, oh shit, there was probably at least one guy who's like, that's my whole act.
you do 30 minutes of a
You
stand-up
don't think you could do
routine.
something topical like mother-in-laws? No, I only want to make fun of black people.
That's
Well,
fair.
you can't do that anymore. Honestly, you shouldn't have been able to do it to begin with. We have a lot of growing to do. Anywho, let's talk about the voice cast before I get canceled.
Yes, hit us now. Before you do that, I did just want to also mention. So Penny was only created so they could market the show to little girls as well.
I also have a fun fact about Penny.
And then Brain was conceived just because they needed someone to be smart in the show and actually solve cases.
I thought you were going to say to market the cartoon to dogs.
Yeah, like, hey, Rover, come on.
Andy Hayward was like, it's an untapped market.
He's like, everybody loves dogs.
No, Don Frax, who voiced Dr. Claw in several seasons, one episode, asked the producers if his daughter Cree Summers could audition for Penny. It became her first acting role.
Nepotism. So sweet. All right, hit it.
Well, damn.
Great segue into the voice cast. Or as the French will say, ha ha ha, voice cast.
The voice cast. Omelette du
From
cast. Okay, so the voice actors for Inspector Gadget are Dawn Adams as Inspector Gadget, Dan Hennessy as Chief Quimby, Cree Summer as Penny, Frank Welker as Brain, Mad Cat, and Dr. Claw, and Don Frax as Big Mad Agent and also Dr. Claw. You know, I think Frank Welker took over.
You know, you've mentioned Cree Summers or Cree Summer a lot.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that name, I just think of like Marvels. Like
Scott Summer?
No, not Scott Summer, but like the
Cree.
The Cree.
Oh yeah. Well, her name is spelled with a C.
I know.
Their race is spelled with a K. So she's not an alien as far as I know.
That we
But
know of.
for their other works, we have Dawn Adams as Maxwell Smart in Get Smart.
Oh.
Frank Welker is, I don't know, we'll do Saul from Big City Greens.
All right.
Don Frax is Chief Newbie in My Bloody Valentine. Dan Hennessy is Dizzy from Rock and Roll. We covered that years
we
ago.
did. What a
And
movie.
then Cree Summer is Elmira Duff in Tiny Toon Adventures.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's talk about Inspector Gadget. Let's do a few more fun facts while I'm thinking about them.
Right.
This is the first animated TV show in stereo sound.
Crazy.
Inspector Gadget's helicopter is, through the laws of physics, inoperable because he doesn't have the back rotor. There would be no way for him to actually pilot. He would just go up.
That's it. Just spin. Constantly
he could
spin.
never propulsion his way to terms. The show contains several references to Dawn Adams' previous role, Maxwell Smart. The opening sequence has Gadget going through many doors to meet Chief Quimby, which Get Smart did in its opening sequence.
Okay.
Dawn Adams reused some of his Get Smart catchphrases for Gadget's character, including "Would you believe?" and "Sorry about that, Chief." And also, oh wait, no, that's pretty much it. But so I always think it's pretty funny. Inspector Gadget, we don't know how much he costs, but if he had 14,000 gadgets in him, you don't think they would spend a little bit more money on him having a better processing power?
No. Where are they going to fit?
If Penny and Brain were not there, he would be dead. Almost every mystery is solved by him.
I like to think,
or by them.
I like to think that when the government put all of, build this cyborg, they picked a human that they really didn't test. They just, kind of like grabbed the first guy they saw, and he was an idiot. And they're like, well, damn,
You think,
we gotta get this smart dog and this little girl to help him out solve cases.
well, Penny's his niece, so she was probably pretty
That we've
thrilled
been
her-
told. I think she's a secret
That's true.
agent.
You think she's a psyop agent?
Yeah, psyop agent.
That
She
kind
was
of
planted.
makes a little more
Planted.
sense. So, Dr. Claw, you actually do see his face, but not in a way that you would think.
And how
So, Inspector Gadget had a action figure run,
okay.
and one of the last runs that they made was Dr. Claw. And you had to buy it or steal it, but they had a sticker covering his face,
Ooh.
but you could see it. He looked like a generic mad scientist.
Oh,
As far as I can tell, I love the people that Mad has employed to do evil, like a yodeler. Or it's just like they have an evil version of whatever you could possibly need to do nefarious things.
it's great, isn't it?
I mean, I guess evil pays the bills, or maybe you don't. If you can't make it in the mainstream of whatever your respective field is, you're like, I'm just going to be an evil clown and work for this. Because we don't ever really
Evil
know what
circus.
Mad's goal was, other than to just be a nuisance. Because it's like, I don't think Dr. Claw wanted to take over the world.
No.
He is just a dickhead.
Yeah, I like to think he was just a billionaire. That was just like,
Yeah.
this guy, before, you guys put all of this stuff in him and turned him into a cyborg, this guy cut me off in traffic. So I'm making it my life's mission.
We might talk about it more in the movie, but the motivation to ruin Inspector Gadget's life is because of a bowling accident. If you remember right, because I don't remember what they called Inspector Gadget before he became Inspector Gadget, but like a bowling accident crushed Dr. Claw's hand, and then he made it his life's mission to... Also, Dr. Claw doesn't have a claw for a hand. He has a gauntlet. Did that not bother anyone else?
I never even thought about that. For some reason.
It's not a claw. It's a glove.
You're right.
Unless, I guess they're pointy at the end, but that's not what I consider claw hands.
Let's be honest. Dr. Claw versus Dr. Gauntlet. Which one sounds better?
Oh, Claw's better.
Exactly.
And he had that cat, so he had a theme.
Yeah. It's just a menacing name,
That cat had one of the best lives. All he had to do was be a hype man. Dr. Claw would be like, right, mad cat. And he'd be like, apparently I can do a lot of the impressions of Inspector Gadget well. I'm learning that about myself today. Although, I feel like Dr. Claw is one of Frank Welker's easier things to mimic.
Yeah.
Sorry. Because it's just going really deep. Just really deep like this. Really deep. We'll get Gadget. It's only when he streams, because every time I try to do the next time Gadget next time, I always get the hiccups, which is why I'm not doing it now. Because I don't want to have the hiccups for the rest of this episode.
It's a very odd
I don't know what it
reaction.
is. It's why I could never be a metal singer. Or screamer? I don't know what the front
Probably
is.
scream.
Anywho. So, did you have a favorite gadget of Inspector Gadget?
I don't know
The
all
phone.
of them.
It's the phone for me.
The phone is pretty cool.
The phone. It was just creative because he had to He had to pull out the antenna. And like, yes, Chief.
Yes, hello.
So, although poor Chief Quimby, you'd think he'd learn to not do that. He like maybe be like, hey, I'll just throw it away. This isn't going to self-destruct. Because he always just gets fucked up. Like,
I always liked, I mean, like, I guess the generic cool ones, like the helicopter. I always thought that would be very...
Helicopter's cool.
Yeah, very convenient.
Go-Go Gadget Legs is definitely, like, one of my favorites. I used to think the Gadget Mobile was sick as fuck. And I remember when they made it, like, you could buy... And it was a Transformer, basically.
He would be a great toy as a Transformer. Like, all around.
He would be, like, all around. Dude, why... Oh my God, if they ever did like a Transformer Inspector Gadget crossover where the Gadget Mobile, that might be the most engineered piece of plastic because you have to have it transform into a robot Inspector Gadget.
Yep.
And the car itself transforms from SUV to sports car, which I had no idea how that works. And I guess it was a cartoon, but I was just like, how does it get faster? Where does the extra weight go? Because that's what happened. He needed extra speed, so he would press the transform button. It would slim itself down, but that's not how weight distribution works.
That's not how mass works, period.
Yeah, it's like, unless...
I'm just going to shift around some of this weight.
Unless it also increased... So, like, with sports mode, it increases the fuel to the fuel injectors to make your pistons go faster, I think.
Maybe it was something
My
like
brother, if he's listening, will either tell me I'm stupid and wrong or right, because he knows way more about cars than I do. So maybe it did that along with transforming, but still... Because then it's an aerodynamic change, which would help you go faster.
I want to be on a 3-way call if your brother calls you up to explain like how this could logistically work.
I would love for my brother to explain to me how a cartoon car could fun. Because first of all, he does not really like cartoons.
Oh no,
and he doesn't really like a lot of fantasy movies. I think like a month ago, he goes, so I tried to watch some of the MCU. Keep in mind, this is the first one he's watched since Iron Man.
Okay.
The first one. He goes, I'm like, cool, what'd you watch? He goes, Captain America Civil War. I didn't really get it. I'm like, that's not even the first Captain America. This is the third installment of a series you never started.
You missed a couple.
Yeah, I was like, I was wondering why I didn't really get what was going on.
How does he feel about Fast and Furious movies, though?
I don't think he's a fan after they started getting away from street racing.
He's like that real hardcore car guy where it's just like
I think once they started like driving safes down the highway, he didn't really care for it anymore.
He liked it when it was more realistic, when it was more, raw and gritty.
Should we explain that Penny is technically an iPad kid before the invention of the iPad? That little thing could do a lot, though. She could hack into anything. It also makes Dr. Claw way less threatening that an 8-year-old girl is constantly just outsmarting him in every way. It's with the help of her bionic uncle. But honestly, I feel like even with all of Inspector Gadget's upgrades, he was more in the way than he was ever helpful. And she had to give him credit every time. He had notoriety. He could get them where they needed to go because everywhere they went, they're like, oh my God, you're the world famous detective Inspector Gadget. And he's like, I'm always on duty.
What is
He was more like a mascot for their for crime fighting.
He was.
And then they had to do all the work. He was like the Queen of England, or I guess King of England now, because that bitch dead.
That is, I never really thought about it like that, but you are correct. He
Because,
is
you know, the
just
queen doesn't
mascot.
do, or
Oh, yeah.
king. They're just like, we're old and inbred. And then all the other
We're here.
British
Don't
guys in
forget
suits are
about
like,
us.
all right, governor, let's make some decisions here.
Hello, puppet.
And that goes with two of our stupid impressions for the
Dude, we've
of
been
different
knocking about the poor
for this week. Now we can move to our new reoccurring segment, reviews that need inspection and reviews that are quality gadget.
Ooh, very nice, Andrew.
Thank you, thank you.
So this is sitting at a 6.8 out of 10, 25,000 ratings, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, this was their first, and let's say arguably most popular franchise that they ever did.
So
Inspector Gadget.
I don't think I brought this up when I was talking about the history of it before I get into the reviews, but it only like ran for 2 seasons.
No, it had
s-
like a 65 episode run.
For some reason, I felt like Inspector Gadget would have been like 5 seasons long or something. But it's just the character that kept holding on for dear life.
It's very strange.
But I think that kind of
It's kind of got like that Mr. Bean syndrome,
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's like you think there are 120 episodes of Mr. Bean, but there's only like 26.
you just keep watching the same 26 episodes.
But you're just like
clips
every
at a
time you watch like clips of the show, you're like, I do not remember this.
So this could not find a 1-star review. People, I don't know. I've never really met anyone who just was just like, I hate Inspector Gadget. It's either
No, you either loved it or you just didn't watch it.
Yeah,
I
like,
don't think Inspector Gadget is not animated badly.
no, it's
This is Deke Entertainment's first one.
They had to-
It's very well done.
They had to come out
funny.
strong.
Yeah, it's funny. The plot. I mean, who doesn't like funny espionage?
Exactly. So
Doesn't
this
like a silly Bond.
So I'm just going to hit you with the 10 out of 10 review, Andrew, titled, I Can't Get Enough. Since I got the DVDs, I can't stop watching. Don Adams is absolutely hilarious. There are a lot of jokes that kids won't exactly figure out, so I'm enjoying it a new and fresh way than I did when I was a teenager. Very catchy tune. That's
He
it.
didn't get those. Oh, wait, no, he's watching it as a teenager.
No, he is saying that when he was a teenager.
So he didn't get some jokes
Exactly.
as a teenager?
Maybe he was a late bloomer, Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I guess. Okay.
Think
You know
about it.
what? I'm not going to
If
judge.
he's
You're right.
talking about watching this in the early 80s as a teenager.
That's true. That's true. He didn't have the internet. He wasn't ruined.
Yeah, internet ruins us about the age of 9, 10 now.
Yeah. It's a problem.
It is.
Anywho, I feel like that wraps up Inspector Gadget.
Inspector
One of the
Gadget.
3 that we'll be covering. What are your closing thoughts, Joel? It's all on YouTube.
It is. Look, Inspector Gadget.
Easiest show to find yet.
Inspector Gadget, you're going to have some fun with it. I don't think you're going to necessarily have a bad time. It's just how long can you put up with it? That's it.
Yeah, honestly, if you're in for a nostalgia, if you're in for a go watch back and it's a nostalgia, I mean, it's almost the same episode every time. So more or less.
Yeah.
But it's a good if you want to do some laundry and also just kind of take a trip down memory lane and not go, fuck, I shouldn't have watched this again. This is probably one of the better ones.
We talk about that a lot, how it's like, it's a show, do your house chores. We should just call it
that's how
it's a house chore cartoon.
we're not exactly covering, the fucking cream of the crop whenever
I don't know.
when we started this
What are
show.
you talking about? Battle toads, man?
That's true. That's a cinematic masterpiece.
It is.
Martin Scorsese himself couldn't have done better.
No, he couldn't have.
But if you would like for us to do better, you can support the show at patreon.com/cartoondd. There you have access to our Discord that gives you access to the mega request. With the exception of this big overhaul of Inspector Gadget, usually puts you to the top of the list. You also have access to extended audio episodes and bonus episodes. You get stickers and pins mailed to your door.
Ooh.
And I think I might have actually figured out how to work on getting people hats.
Yay!
So hopefully, if you like wearing hats and you want to pay us $5 a month,
get a hat.
You'll get one.
Get a hat, mother.
We have a website, cartoondumpsterdive.com. There you can go to our store and buy a shirt, or you can do a regular request. We'll get to it. And we are Cartoon DD on both Blue Sky and Twitter. We are Cartoon Dumpster Dive on all other social media platforms. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you feel so inclined, or give us a 5-star review on the podcasting platform of your choice so we can inspect other cartoons with our podcasting gadgets. Have a great rest of your week.
See ya. What a dude. Bango of an outro. I had no idea where you was going with that, but nice.
This has been a Lug Hole Podcast.